Welcome into another episode of Immigrant Podcast. I'm your boy Nikolai Hill. Of course, the show is brought to you by Nothing But Net International. We just want to give you some information about the first people that were originally inhabiting this land we call America today. I like to call them the indigenous people of the Las Tortugas. We used to call it the Turtle Islands, and the 3 million people who lived here before the European settlers came to this jurisdiction. They were peaceful, calm people, lived amongst each other in different tribes and in different uh, areas of the country, some in the warmer weather, some like the colder weather. It spread all the way from up north all the way to down south. So what Canada, the United States, and Mexico is right now, we're a continent basically in itself of people who look like a lot of people that we would call original Mexicans today. So when we're talking about immigration from Mexicans into the United States, it's just a weird topic for a lot of us because I personally think the people who look like the Mexican people, at least the darker skinned ones, are the original inhabitants of this land we call the United States and places like Mexico and even Canada. But mainly for the logo and the name itself for the brand, we represent the 3 million people who were originally here. We represent the 12 million people, 13 million Africans that were brought here from the 1500s all the way to the middle of the 1800s, about 1850. So we represent that cross section of people as well. And the impact they had on building the United States and Canada and Mexico to what it is here today. We wanted to let you guys know that this terrain is beautiful, and it's obviously to the Europeans it was something that they saw an opportunity and they took advantage of, starting in the late 1400s with the voyagers who came here first. Some say it's Christopher Columbus. We know that this country was named after an Italian voyager named Amerigo Vespucci. And so that's why we came to the name of America. A lot of you guys that are listening today might not know that, but the Europeans saw an opportunity. So that's why they're here. 80% of the population of this land right now are, white people. And of course, sometimes they're in denial about it. We speak about immigrants, and a lot of the people who are Caucasian might not want to admit that their ancestors are immigrant to this land itself. At least they were at one point. We also call the show the Immigrant Podcast to represent, obviously, the natives that were originally here, like I've already said. We call it the Immigrant Podcast for the Africans that were brought here in ships that, in my stance, they were bamboozled. 13 million over a 300-year period, bamboozled to think that they were going somewhere to actually get an opportunity when they were going somewhere to be enslaved, put to work, and made to be basically known as an inferior part of society. Asians and Indians, and not Indians like the native Indians, like we like to call them, because I don't consider those people Indians at all. We're talking about the Indians in India, and Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, Asians in China, Japan, Korea, wherever that may. They saw an opportunity as well, and they're the ones that have benefited in the last few centuries from the United States that we see here today. So we give 100% credit for the infrastructure of this country to immigrant labor. Some of it white, Caucasian. They were the original ones that saw an opportunity to come here and build something the magnanimous stature that it is today, the United States. We want to thank the native people for sacrificing 1.5 million of the native people that were here, fought to keep it their land after being told that, people were just coming here to just voyage and see what else was out there, but their land was stolen. So we're here to acknowledge them as well with the name of this podcast, the logos that we have on here as well. And when it comes to going forward with the podcast, we're hoping to continue to educate people on things outside of America. And if you're outside of America, we want to educate you about things that are inside the United States of America and what encompasses the entire country itself. So we'll continue to do that. Glad to have your time again right here on the Immigrant Podcast. We'll be back with more great stuff in the future. Like I said, we've been brought to you by Nothing But Net International.